Welcome to the Hobby to Hustle podcast. I'm Gemma.
And I'm Candace. This is the podcast for creatives run by two fellow business owners who discuss the ups and downs of creative entrepreneurship.
From dealing with imposter syndrome to celebrating new business milestones, we're here to talk about all of them with you. Hi, welcome back to the Hobby to Hustle podcast. This is part 2 of our series talking about becoming a full-time business owner. And a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the challenges of doing it full-time. And this week, we're talking about all the plus sides of becoming a full-time business owner. So, Candace, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah. So the first one we want to go over is freedom. You are now your own boss. You get to say whatever your schedule is, and you can take time off. Although you're probably going to feel guilty about it, you can still take time off. It is available. I think the word availability is the most important thing here. You don't need your time off approved by another person. So that's like a huge thing for me, is that no one is watching over my day, and therefore I get to create whatever I want to do on a day-to-day basis. I'm not forced to do any of the tasks that are uncomfortable for me. I'm not forced to work with someone that I don't want to work with, or that, okay, that sounds really bad, but that's never happened to me really. But I'm not forced to meet new people that I don't particularly want to meet. Like, if I want to be a hermit, I can be a hermit. I'm not forced to go like, okay, you are forced to go to this social event because you work for us. The fact that I'm able to, work whenever I want to work, take time off if I want to, be able to work after hours, because that was an anxiety of mine, is that sometimes I think about work after hours, and if it's the only thing that can make me happy, or the only thing I'm quote unquote craving, that sounds like a weird crave, but like,
no, but I know.
I know. Like, right? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that essentially I can do what I want to do, and that's great.
Is having control over your own life. It's something a lot of us don't have. Like, if you want to take time off in 2 months, you have to ask permission. And unless you're a business owner and you have freedom over your schedule, and that's a massive plus side. And for someone that is a night owl, not having to wake up early in the morning is amazing. It is so good. I love not having to set an alarm when I'm working for myself. I can sleep for extra hours if my body needs it, and often it does. I know some people are fine on like 6 hours sleep. I need at least 8, otherwise I physically feel the effects the next day. So being able to catch up on sleep is really important for me.
Oh my God, I just thought of another one. If you're sick.
So clearly you have not read the schedule, Candace. That is point number 6.
Oh, did I? Oh,
I wrote the script. But yeah, we can actually talk about that in this point, because it is so true. You can work with your energy levels. You can not work when you're sick. And Candace, bless her, is sick a lot.
Yeah.
Poor Candace seems to always have something wrong with her. Yeah, I am someone who suffers with a lot of headaches, and feeling stuck in a job when you have a horrible headache is horrible. And I also suffer with fatigue sometimes. Like, I'm not just talking feeling a bit tired, I'm talking exhaustion. Like real exhaustion. And
yeah, like when you start crying for not no reason, but like your body just starts crying.
Yeah. So when I'm in those periods of not feeling 100%, I can not work and I can go to sleep, or I can sit on my sofa and cry. If that's what I want to do. I don't want to do that usually, but if I want to do that to make myself feel better, I have the freedom to do that.
Yeah, you have the freedom, you have the power, and you have the availability. When I'm working, and let's say I'm hyper focused on this one thing, and a headache comes along, or like I feel like that, for those migraine feelers, that feeling you get behind your that one eyeball. And you're just like, this sucks. If I was working under another person, unfortunately, it's not something that you could send yourself home for. You should be able to. It genuinely, you should. But apparently it's not the norm too. Where if I'm working at home and I feel like genuine trash, then I would just look at William and go like, I think I'm gonna take the rest of the day off. I can't. I'm exhausted. Something's not right. And I'll go to bed. I won't sleep because I'm thinking about work. Like, I can't rest properly, but that's a topic for another conversation. But yeah, like, I can step away. And then if I feel a little bit better at night, I can come back and I can pick up where I left off. But it's the fact that I'm even given the power to just, like, get up and go, like, no, it's a no for me today.
It's so kind of bizarre when you think about it, though, the fact that you have to work when you're in physical pain in a lot of jobs. And, you know, it's not a said thing. If you're in pain, you still have to work through, but it's the culture, isn't it? I have had seriously painful headaches and I've just sat at my desk, not being able to work because I'm in a lot of pain, but I'm not allowed to go home. And no one's told me I'm not allowed to go home, but I know from culture that I can't say, can I go home? I have a headache. Like, it just sadly doesn't work like that. And it's bizarre when we think about it.
If you're like me and you feel the guilt of, what's that word I'm looking for? Feeling guilty for inconveniencing your coworkers because you're going home, then you don't have that anymore. Like, you're not really inconveniencing anyone because you're one. You're that one person. And genuinely, at least in the art community as well, I'm sure a lot of the other small business communities are like this. When you tell your followers or whatever that you're feeling ill and that you'll take some time to catch up on stuff, you know, people understand like why you are irreplaceable. You feel important. You're not like some one speck of the sand in your corporate world where, like, if you're feeling ill, then, you know, it makes sense that your order doesn't go through because, like, there's 1,000 other people that could do it. Like, you know, you are important, so people recognize that. And yeah, it's kind of cool. It's not cool that you're sick all the time, but I'm just saying it's cool. You can, you know, give yourself the space.
Yeah, definitely. So moving on to point number 2, and that is more earning potential. Now, I am coming from a background of frankly being underpaid. I've never felt like I've been paid on a similar level to my peers, and it definitely knocked my confidence because I'm someone that associates my salary to my worth. And I know I shouldn't, but that's how I feel. So for me, I feel excited at running a business because I know that it has more earning potential long term. And now don't get me wrong, if I would have really focused down into a career and focused on that salary progression, I'm sure I could have done it. But I know that I can also improve my salary by working on a business that brings me joy. And although there's a dip in income when you first get started, I know that long term, there's much more potential there to earn more money. And I am motivated to continue because I genuinely believe that I will start earning more than my peers in the future. And I know that sounds maybe egotistical, but I don't care. I am determined, and it's like a big ego thing. Like, I want to prove my worth and show that this was the right decision, and I do believe that I will eventually earn more money.
There's essentially no cap because you can earn as much as the market is willing to, not willing, but as much as the market can, in terms of how you grow your business. Like, your stage is not capped, therefore your market is never capped. For example, William's job, he told me how it's eventually going to get capped. Like his job is like it, as a software engineer, it does get capped. If he stays in that position, he would constantly need to switch positions or like move up into like executive role to get more pay. But even at that point, there's going to be a cap. I'm not saying that you are going to earn as much as like Facebook or Meta, whatever those things are called. Like it's, I'm not saying that you are going to get to that point really quickly and or like that is, you know, where you want to get to. Like if that's your goal, that's no longer small business, by the way. Just that is no longer small business. But if you're staying in small business, technically there's no cap. And so there's more earning potential for you for sure. Because I'm doing e-commerce. Like, so I have Etsy, I have my own website, and now I'm on YouTube. Like you don't just go like, oh, we're going to cap Candace at like 100 subs or whatever. It's like, that's not how it works. So yeah, the higher earning potential is very, very enticing.
Yeah. And when we reach that point, that'd be really nice.
Yeah.
Let's move on to point number 3, and that is friendships. I am here with Candace, who lives in a completely different country to me, and I would say we're friends.
Oh my god,
at this point, I would say we're friends. And I have made so many new friends since starting a business, and that was a completely unexpected bonus for me. I did not expect to become friends with so many people. It's really cool. Yeah, I've met people online, such as Candace, and I've also made lots of local friends as well who are fellow business owners or work for businesses that are in the local community. And, you know, there's a fear that you're going to be very lonely when you start your own business, and that can be the case if you cut yourself off. But there's so much opportunity to make friends and make, really close friends as well.
Yeah, like you know, finding friends or like finding people that you click well with is very hard if you know nothing about that person and you have 0 things in common. But if you're talking to another small business owner, you already have one really big thing. Your suffering journey of, I'm kidding. No, but it's true though. Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of is though. Like if you are suffering and someone is suffering with you, you kind of just like, you both just sit there in your sad bubble. And a lot of times it kind of turns into a deeper meaning because both of you are like not having a great time and you're supporting each other. And yeah, I would say Gemma and I, every single time we experience something that's really negative, our relationship gets a little bit deeper.
Yeah, it's true.
It's really true. And so therefore, when you meet other small business owners and make new friends, just the fact that you've both been through something really hard is pretty special. And to go through it together is like, whoa. You know? And
it's not just that biz friends wallow together, but they also celebrate each other's wins. You know, I've had friends celebrate my success. Like when I've had a win, they have been there cheering me on. And that feels so nice because, you know, when you're talking to people who aren't small business owners or aren't artists, they don't get it. They don't get it in the same way. Having someone who generally understands how proud you're feeling or how satisfied you're feeling and cheering you on is just really nice as well. And I think we're very lucky the industry we're in. Everyone's so kind. Everyone's lovely. I haven't met anyone who's nasty. I don't think I've met one nasty person.
I think when you choose to become full-time, or if you choose to even run a small business, a lot of times you kind of have a different perspective of life, And I think due to that perspective, I don't know, it just makes you more real, you know? So when you meet those kinds of people, I'm not saying people who don't have a business are not real. They are real. Okay. Don't think that that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying specifically people who run small businesses kind of have a different perspective of life. And, you know, it's nice to talk about that perspective with them.
So mutual understanding.
Yeah, mutual understanding. That's the word I'm going for. Okay. That's good. Yeah, because I feel like I was going on that train of like I said one thing and then people were like, okay, this is not what I meant. If I say I like cats, it doesn't mean I hate dogs. Okay, that's a completely different sentence. But yeah. And so this ties into our next point, which is feeling really satisfied with your work. Now, I think 2 episodes ago, we were talking about craft fairs, and I was saying how, you know, it's very daunting to do your very first craft fair. It's very daunting to do your 3rd, 5th, 15th, 20th, 100th. Okay. So it's tough, but once you get it done, it's super satisfying. Even Will, my husband, is saying things like, yeah, when I'm, you know, working on your projects, like, cause, you know, free employee. I'm kidding. So when he's working on my projects, for him, because he's working from scratch, it's very hard, but it's so satisfying for him because, you know, you're doing something new and it's your own and you're one person. You gotta take all the credit. I'm kidding.
No, it's true. You can.
Yeah, you can take all the credit. You do have a support group, so they get credit too, but it's, yeah, like you made it out of nothing.
Yeah, when you make that sale as well, whether it's, normally the first sale of something new to you, there's like a feeling of pure joy that comes from that. And, you know, even being in business a couple of years, I still feel really happy when I see a sale come in. And every single one that comes in, I'm like, Callum, I got a sale. Because I get so excited about it. Yeah, so thank you anyone who's placed an order with me, because genuinely it makes my day.
Yeah, it really does. And seeing those reviews, like on Etsy and stuff, it makes me really happy that I made someone's day. And like, I just want you to sit back, like Gemma, you included, and like for those who are listening and have started their business, I just want you to sit back, close your eyes, and just think, where would your business be if you didn't exist? Nowhere. So you literally made something out of thin air. Like that. Like, Amazon wouldn't have existed if Jeff Bezos didn't think of it and made it happen. If he didn't exist, I don't think Amazon would have existed, kind of situation. And so it's like, wow, from the ground up. Isn't that amazing?
That is. And I think we always forget that. Like, we get so caught up in the day-to-day that we forget how far we've come and how much we've done. I mean, in our wrap-up episode from last year, remember we'd forgotten all the things we'd done? You've accomplished so much. Like, we all have, and we forget that. And pat yourself on the back because you're doing an amazing job. Yeah, go us. And even just the day-to-day. The day-to-day is generally more fun than a day-to-day in a 9-to-5. I mean, it may depend on the sort of 9-to-5 you have, but generally if you're running your own business, it's going to be something that you enjoy. So moving on to our final point, and that is that job security isn't really a thing in the 9-to-5 world either. You know, us small business owners, yes, live in a state of financial insecurity sometimes, but just because you have a 9-to-5, it doesn't mean that you're secure. And that's really scary. But the pandemic, I think, shown us that. And it really feels like the pandemic was a while ago, but it really wasn't that long ago that people were being made redundant. And the state of the world was changing and how our businesses looked changed as well. So, I was like, mine was a baby business back then, but I started teaching in-person workshops just before the first lockdown happened. And then I could no longer teach in-person workshops, and that was the only thing I offered. But because I have a small business where I could be flexible, I could then adjust my business to accommodate the current market. Whereas if you're in a 9-to-5 job, you're kind of stuck with the position you're in, and you're reliant on the company to adjust to the market. And your job security depends a bit more on your employer.
Yeah. I think the fact that you are your own boss and that you get to make the call of what changes to ensure your income or like, adapt is really powerful. You are not going home that day and thinking, well, the market is down and there's a potential I can lose my job, and I don't want to ever get an email saying that, my boss needs to talk to me and blah, 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 blah. I think as a business owner, small business owner, as an artist, there are still going to be people that exist that are looking forward to your creations, and that alone will help you with keeping the ball rolling, regardless of how things are going. Like right now, our economy is, garbage, but you can still work on your business. It just means you have a little bit more downtime to work on, growing your business. So when things start picking back up, you have more to offer. It's really different when you're working corporate and your job security is in the hands of another person. Although it is difficult as a small business owner, you can still keep the ball rolling. You can still work on other business plans. I think that's like the key takeaway to, having external factors not as effective on you.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, businesses can still 100% be impacted, but again, it's all about that flexibility. And yeah, like Candace said, it's not up to someone else, it's up to you. And as scary as that is at times, having your fate in your own hands, I would rather have my fate in my hands than in someone else's.
Oh, that's so true. That is very powerful. Wow.
Yeah.
That's not sarcasm. It was genuinely like, wow, damn, you're so wise.
It's my extra couple of years of experience on this planet, Candace. I'm full of wisdom.
So with the end of the series, we're ending it on the pros of becoming a full-time business. The first one is, like we said, freedom. The power, availability. It's pretty much endless. You get to work with your natural biological clock, not work against it. You are your own boss. The second thing that we talked about is earning potential. You don't have a cap, essentially. You work however many times you want, like how many hours you want, and you can earn income that won't be capped because your employer doesn't want to give you a raise. You're your own employer. Friendships, you can create something special like Gemma and I. We don't have never met each other in person, but we have been meeting each other for maybe close to 1 or 2 times a week for the last year, a couple of years actually. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's really amazing. Meet the people around you. You get to suffer with other people kind of. Well, okay. Well, have other people support you while you are both in the, the negative fields. Someone understands you is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. They really understand you. You get to make something out of nothing. And that itself is super powerful, right? If you didn't exist, the small business wouldn't have existed because your artwork is unique. And so therefore, whatever you make is much more satisfying than anything else, essentially, when it comes to the small business. External factors don't really affect you as much as if you were to be working under another person, because you get to make the changes. You don't need it to be approved by another person, blah, blah, blah. Last but not least, if you're like me and you get sick very often, you actually get to step away from your office and just take the day off without having to feel guilty that you're inconveniencing another person or whatever your anxiety and guilt is, just take that time off. So these are the, some of the perks of becoming a full-time business. There are a lot more, and over the podcast, Gemma and I will probably talk about more that we forgot. But yeah, these are the perks. So this is the end of our episode, and it is really great talking about these positive things, and it makes us feel really happy that it affects, like our tips affect a lot of you guys, because we see your reviews now. It's amazing. And I guess we'll chat with you guys in 2 weeks' time. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.